Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and earlier, I guess, a couple hours ago, honestly, it's 1:30 in the morning. I need to shave. Blizzard pushed a bunch of hotfixes to beta without any kind of blue post going up. Now, I would assume probably later on today when this video comes out, we're going to see a blue post talking about the changes, why they've been made, and then, go from there. Maybe get a new build, but it's very important to note that beta has been marked as release candidate, which means at this point, we might not be getting builds every Wednesday or every week or so. It's likely it's going to be more hotfixes being pushed randomly. 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, 10 p.m. on a Tuesday, 4 p.m. on a Friday, who knows, random hotfixes here and there. But either way, these buffs today, these changes today, buffs to Warlock, big nerfs to Diabolist, nerfing Destro, nerfing Demo, looking at the builds we were playing recently, some buffs to AF, a lot of changes here and there. So today we're going to review all them. No sims as of yet, but probably in a video like tomorrow or so, looking at them in combat, maybe some sims at that point, and then going from there once, things are a bit more fleshed out. If you guys want any Week Wars or add-ons, links to Twitch and Discord down below. You can go for free. At the same time, I've talked about it before, but the War Within beta spreadsheet for Warlocks and D-Lab on Patreon. If you like early access to that, the tier 3 Battleguard rank or higher does indeed get it, but it does go public regardless before the expansion launches, and that is the case. Also, really fast, I don't know what that was about. The website, kalamazi.gg, I haven't talked about it in a couple of years really. It's been up the whole time. It is not up to date for War Within or S4, but it will be up to date for War Within. If you go to it now, we're working out some things with like adding non-intrusive and awkward ads and things to the site, all that kind of stuff. But as heads up, I haven't talked about it a whole lot in the past couple of years, honestly, but it will indeed be up to date, all that for War Within, getting a facelift and all that. So if you guys haven't checked it out, kalamazi.gg, link in the description down below. Just in general, if you want to bookmark it or whatever, it's a great resource for like text guides versus video guides here. That's that. Enough yapping. I just noticed the alligator has a hat on. That's pretty cool. Let's get it going. Alrighty, so getting into the changes here. These changes were data mined by Wowhead. They were pushed at I think 9 or 10 p.m. Tuesday night. It's Wednesday morning watching this video, but yeah, and there's no blue post that went up for any of this. There'll probably be a blue post later on today, but they were just hotfixes that were pushed and they're data mined. These changes are scattered throughout Warlock, throughout General, and throughout uncategorized spells in the data mine stuff. So we're gonna have to dig through a lot here. We're gonna talk about it. I have a notepad as well to show you what happened at the end, but a lot of things happened. So when it comes to Affliction, a lot of these are also PvP-based changes. So I'll hit on everything here and try and differentiate, so on and so forth. But yeah, when it comes to Affliction, there are 4, I guess, changes to Wither here. 30 to 8% effect modifier, -30 to -16. I don't know what happened here. I talked to a bunch of APL writers. They don't know either. But then one was like, yo, it is a incredibly minor nerf, super small, if even a nerf at all. I think it's 0.91 to 0.9076, something like that. It was exceptionally minuscule from what I heard, unless they're wrong. So basically, it's a wash. They're just retooling certain effects. I don't know why. It's whatever. Didn't really change anything. When it comes to Agony, this was nerfed in PvP. Rapture, however, so Malefic Rapture has been buffed in PvE. I guess everywhere, essentially. This is a buff to Rapture. It is roughly a 20% buff overall to Rapture, 38% modifier to 45, 46 essentially. A bit of a, just raw buff, Wither unchanged, Rapture getting buffed. AF was a little behind, I feel like, damage-wise. It was definitely behind when it came to Destro and Demo a couple of days ago, so, spoilers ahead, they've been knocked down, but this has actually been, a nice welcome change. Rapture buff. Drain Soul PvP buffs, Haunt PvP buffs. Soul Rot, however, has been buffed. They have buffed Soul Rot's damage by 60%, both to the main target and targets that it cleaves onto. So this is a relatively substantial buff to Soul Rot. Soul Rot's, obviously adding more value to Rapture, which is buff too, but, this is not a direct buff to Raptures in general. The dot being active is, but, raw buff to its dot damage, which does matter a bit more with our tier bonus, increasing dot damage too whenever it procs is nice. We'll take it. Free damage, no problems. Unstable Affliction, this is a buff to the spell, basically PvP stuff. Whatever, no big deal. I don't PvP personally, but if you do, hey, there's that. Call Observer, PvP. Rampant Afflictions, PvP. Rotten Decay, PvP. Soul Swap, PvP. So there's that. So basically the AF stuff, we have a 20% buff to Rapture, basically a wash when it comes to Wither, from what I understand, if not a super minuscule nerf, probably about a wash. And then Soul Rot, a 60% buff to the dot image. So AF got some value. We'll take it, no problems there. When it comes to Destro, so they have decided to buff Chaos Bolt, which is probably one of the steps when that there needs to be taken. When it comes to like addressing and fixing the Rain of Fire single target spam build and all of that. Chaos Bolt's been buffed from 228 to 262, which is basically a 15% buff to Chaos Bolt, which is nice. Cool, good to see. All of that. This is PvE, not PvP. I mean, it works both ways, but this is a PvP or PvE buff. It'll happen in, in raids and so on and so forth. Now, this is where things become a little fragmented. So this is specifically a Destro lot change that affects Diabolist. This modifier here is the one shard being taken from Infernal Bolt. It gives 2 shards. This is a change that happened, I think, on Friday of last week, whatever. It's been live for a few days on beta already. Infernal Bolt for Destro now gives 2 shards, down from 3, which is fine, not a huge deal. The bigger deal, though, they have reset the ritual baseline duration reduction from 14, which was changed a week ago, I believe, in Tuesday's build. It went from 20 to 14. Now it's been reset back to 20. Obviously, Destro Diabolist cycled pets incredibly fast, Rain of Fire spam, all that, and like realistically, the ritual change just made Rain of Fire build, even more insane. So Chaos Bolt buff, positive there. They've reverted the duration reduction to Diabolist back to 20, and Bolt 2 shards, not 3, but in the end, whatever to Bolt. Avatar Destruction, Pyrogenics, and Summon Infernal. So these were all also part of the changes on Friday. So Infernal Bolt, Avatar, Pyrogenics, Infernal, basically giving a shard fragment every 1 second for Avatar, same for Infernal, up from, I guess, a nerf essentially, a second versus every half second, and Pyrogenics 3%, down from 5%, but once again, this didn't really change much when it comes to the Rain of Fire spam playstyle. It lessened the gap by maybe 10%, lessened the disparity, however, but it still favored Rain of Fire by a crazy amount. So that is that. But there's more to it, though, so I'm going to keep going here. Hero talents, PvP, whatever. Ruination. So this is the big meteor from the Pit Lord. They have nerfed this from 1900 basically back to 1127. This is pretty much just a reversion, from what I understand, of the damage buff that I got last week. They just reverted it, right? Being honest, Ruination still was it still is very strong, really strong in AoE when it hits multiple mobs. In single target, it's sort of I mean, it's fine, it hits hard, but I wouldn't mind a single target modifier in this thing if it does more damage, like when it hits 1 target. But either way, it was hitting it really hard. Probably needed to be nerfed a bit, and they did nerf it back. Not a big deal. Touch of Rancora. So they have not changed this at all. This is the ability that increases damage of your next shard consuming spell, Chaos Bolt, Shadow Bolt, or Shadow Burn for destruction by 100%, and reduces the cast time by half. They did not change this ability at all in PvE. In PvP, though, they destroyed it. They made it 20% and made it like a 20% cast time reduction. So it's much worse in PvP, but I don't do that. But if you do, hey, it's much worse now. Keep that in mind. This is all PvP stuff here as well. Versatile Harvester. I'm sorry if this is so out of order, guys. It's just out with state of mind. I can't wait too much about it. I'll summarize it all in the end, though. PvP stuff, whatever. PvP. So now we get into the other effects here. So when it comes to general stuff, the Chaos Bolt buff is under here. This is for Overfiend, but it's the same thing. Your bolts, Overfiend bolts, one and the same. If you scroll to the bottom here, though, Wicked Cleave. So Wicked Cleave is the big axe cleave from our Overlord, right? Yeah, that was doing like 6 million damage with big crits. It was nerfed by half. It was nerfed by 75%, I believe, roughly, as conversion is in PvP, but by half in PvE. This was very strong. It got a significant buff, and this is still likely higher than what it was before. It is higher than what it was before, so we'll take it. This is once again tuning the demons back down to a more reasonable level. It works. Still like 4.5% of my damage breakdown overall. Not 6 million, but still a solid 2.5, give or take, in certain spots. So Overlord was indeed nerfed. Ruination Meteor from Pit Lord, also nerfed. Now, getting into uncategorized spells for other classes here, we have more things coming in. This is already talked about, no big deal. This stuff here. Chaos Salvo, however, this is Big Mommy. Big Mommy's Green River of Fell. This was nerfed. Chaos Salvo was nerfed by 40% from 0.6 to 0.36. Was doing a lot of damage. All the pests are doing a lot of damage. So, unsurprisingly, once again, this was changed. You know, there's that. Is what it is, right? This is all like effect modifiers. No big deal with this stuff. Let me see. Fellseeker. So this is also another nerf. This is a nerf to the Pit Lord. This was nerfed by 40% as well, from 356 to 213. Also was doing a lot of damage. Still a buff from where it was a week ago, obviously, which is nice, but it is overall a nerf. Bringing him more in line to where he should be. So there's that. Then we have Incinerate here. So this is straight up a nerf to Incinerate. However, this is a 25% nerf to Incinerate, right around there. But they buffed Chaos Bolt by 15%, which does add a bit more value to Crushing Chaos and things also talent-wise, which is already pretty good for Diabolist and all that. In an effort, I mean, nerfing Incinerate as your filler spell, we talked about a few days ago in a video, and buffing Chaos Bolt will indeed lessen the gap a bit as well, like lessen the disparity between Rain of Fire and Chaos Bolt in a single target. So you've got Chaos Bolt being buffed, you've got Ritual of Ruin being reset to 20 seconds, which is also favors Chaos Bolt a little more than Rain of Fire, and Incinerate also being nerfed, which also favors Chaos Bolt a little more than Rain of Fire. From what I understand, these changes likely make it so that Hellcaller favors Chaos Bolt now over Rain of Fire and single target. Haven't seen something yet, but Diabolist likely, possibly, maybe still favors Rain of Fire. I haven't seen Sims. I play both in game. I had better success with Chaos Bolt build, but honestly, they're both pretty close still, and Rain of Fire build's sort of a pain to play. So, that's basically that. Volley, everything else here, this is PvP stuff, so on and so forth, all PvP. And, there's basically that. So to summarize the changes here, I have a notepad. Hopefully this is big enough for you guys to see. Diabolist Ritual for Destro reverted to 20, was 14. Mother of Chaos, Chaos Salvo, Big Mommy, 40% nerf to her big green, beam. Fellseeker nerf by 40% from Pit Lord. Ruination, this is the meteor that Pit Lord gives you from your, I think it's Chaos Bolt or Incandescent Gul'dan for Destro and Demo respectively. Nerf by 40%. Wicked Cleave from your Overlord, nerfed by 50%. Destro, Bolt buffed by 15. Incinerate, nerfed by 25. Blasphemy, Pyrogenics, and Overfiend, these were nerfed on Friday. It's no big deal. It's whatever, doesn't matter really. Demonic Art, bugs have also been fixed. We'll get to this in a minute though. Affliction, so the Wither nerf is not 8%, a wash, very minor. Likely, once again, probably a wash, probably a net neutral, maybe a super minor nerf overall, but you got Rapture buffed by 20%. So Af got buffed, which is nice. Soul Rot also buffed by 60%. And, there is basically that. Now, there are a couple things I want to show you briefly for Diabolist stuff. Destro, when it comes to all of that. Had to swap scenes there, sorry guys, but either way, we're back here. So, Demonic Art, whatever. This is the ability that reduces cast time with Chaos Bolt, Rain of Fire, Shadowburn, and doubles the damage, essentially, whenever you complete a ritual. Ritual has been reverted to 20 seconds again, up from 14 that was... It's been reverted. It's 20 again, was 14 last week. They reverted the change. Whenever you summon a demon, Pit Lord, Big Mommy, do with an axe, it will give you a ritual or a demonic art whenever it's complete, which you want to cast a Chaos Bolt or a Shadowburn on. Now, there were some bugs last week that existed with this. Number one is that demonic art previously... pass them anymore. I'll try and proc one here. This is my art tracker here. You can get it in the Wago if you want. It's part of this week aura. It would essentially check for it would essentially be removed whenever the spell dealt damage to the mob. So you can essentially wait here, wait for it to proc about now, and get max range, backdraft stack, and go Chaos Bolt, and then Shadowburn, whatever, with travel time. And you would essentially get 2 buffed Chaos Bolts and a buffed Shadowburn. You could even get a third buff Chaos Bolt, I believe, if you went like Chaos Bolt, Conflagrate Chaos Bolt at max range. It's a little finicky either way. That's been fixed. That is gone. There's no more like distance cheese, which is good. Obviously wouldn't have lasted, but that bug, you know, was around last week, which is nice to see. There is another bug though, a new one that emerged this build from what I can see, and that is based around the Pit Lord. So you have the Overlord, which is going to be summoned right now with this ritual basically. Here's a ritual showing on the thing. It's going to double the damage of my Chaos Bolt, Shadow Burn, or Rain of Fire. It's always Chaos Bolt or Shadow Burn, single target at this point. I'll pull up my combat log here. So watch how hard this bolt hits. It might be a little hard to see, but I'll point it out. So we're going to cast this. We're just going to bolt here. No big deal. This bolt hit for 1.4 million, right? So the next pet is going to be the Mother of Chaos coming up. It's always the same cycle. She's going to empower, you know, a spell all the same, and I'm going to cast a Chaos Bolt again. We're going to see how hard it hits. So she's coming up now. We're going to wait. So we have it now, basically. Build some shards, no big deal. Cast a Chaos Bolt. It hit for 1.9 million. We had a mastery proc, whatever. Obviously much bigger, but no big deal. The Pit Lord, coming up in 10 seconds here, should also do the exact same thing. Empower the Rain of Fire cast. Empower the Chaos Bolt for a big damage increase, right? So we're going to cast the bolt here. Chaos Bolt. Hit for mine. Hit for, where'd it go? Or fiends are hitting too hard. Mine hit for, where is it? Where's my bolt? Where'd my bolt go? Help me. Your Immolate, your Incinerate, or Fiend Chaos Bolt. Your Chaos Bolt. Where is your Chaos Bolt? I don't even see it. Did it even hit? There. Okay, took me a little while. 851. Basically, Big Mommy and Overlord are buffing your shard consuming spells, but the Pit Lord's Diabolic Art, whatever this thing is, not doing it. It's just a bug. So heads up, you're not getting a buff for every pet. It's only 2 out of 3. There's that. The one final thing I want to hit on, which is also a bug that was around last week, but it's also sort of impactful. I mean, it's obviously impactful, but it needs to be looked at. I'm going to build some shards here. So I have an Overlord up right now. So I have a reduced cast time bolt and the big damage increase queued up. We're going to cast it, no big deal. So the next ritual is going to be Big Mommy, right? Now, the thing is, here's the timer on this. You can't preemptively like cast a Chaos Bolt before the buff is active. So like what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna start casting a bolt about now. I'm gonna get buff about now. Bolt launches, buff is consumed, but the bolt hit for 707. Obviously, bolts that are buffed by Diabolic Art hit for 1.4 to 2 million, depending on procs. So if you're in a situation where you're like, all right, cool, I've got shards for this, I've got a thing coming up now, I'm gonna cast a bolt, and you're mid-bolt cast and this procs, and you finish the cast, finishing the cast will consume the effect, but it will not buff the Chaos Bolt. You essentially need to have, like, you can just sort of check and make sure you're doing it right, I guess, if you want to like sort of do it this way. You need to feel the cast time reduction, because like when the effect's active, if you cast the bolt, it's faster, obviously. But there's no way, I mean, you can't queue a Chaos Bolt with a ritual having like a second on it, right? Let's be smart. Let's play it. Let's 5-head it, right? I'm going to queue a bolt up. It's going to proc mid-cast, and it's going to launch for a big damage increase. No. At the same time, probably not worth it regardless versus just building shards with Incinerate and casting, you know, a bolt afterwards because of cast time reduction. But heads up, that's bugged. If you're not watching it super close, you're likely going to scuff it a handful of times also, like just a natural play. So they need to fix that bug. It's likely not going to be... it's likely a loss if it's working properly to do that. You want to like just build more shards and cast a faster bolt. But in general, that's another bug. But besides all that, everything today, Af was buffed, not really nerfed. Destro and Demo both took a pretty big hit from Diabolist getting nerfed. Destro itself wasn't really nerfed much. I mean, Bolt was buffed. This is nerfed. I think this is fine. It makes the damage breakdown more what it should be. Bolt's hitting hard, incinerates your builder, Bolt's your spender. I don't know if Rain of Fire is going to be your play in single target. It likely still is for Diabolist. Maybe not Hellcaller. We'll see where it goes in Sims, whatever, tomorrow, and so on and so forth. But Diabolist took the biggest hit today for sure, which affects Destro and Demo. But I mean, you know, there's a reason they're both being played before this week because of Diabolist. So unsurprisingly, they were nerfed. All 3 lock specs are pretty similar, I'd say, damage-wise. Testing was like Destro and Af are pretty similar. And then honestly, Soul Harvest or Diabolist, or Soul Harvest or Destro was pretty close. to the other two as well. So we'll see where it goes. Probably tomorrow, a combat testing video, some sims if they come out, so on and so forth, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, guys. That wraps it up, and hopefully help clarify some of the changes that are coming today, probably in a blue post and hit last night, hotfixes on beta. Like I said, all three lock specs honestly feel pretty similar when it comes to damage to one another. I was surprised at how strong Soul Harvester Demonology felt. Soul Harvester AF is bugged. Once again, Crescendo's not proccing with it, so we can't really play it a whole lot for like actual damage. Diabolist stuff has been nerfed, obviously, a good bit. It was coming. Might have been a bit much. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it lands. But either way, they've also tried to address the random fire single target playstyle. And when sims are out, we'll see where it goes. I believe that gap has indeed closed a good bit. It might still favor random fire a bit. But hey, we'll know soon. Like always, any week or add-ons you want them, links to Twitch and Discord down below. You can get them for free. At the same time, a huge shout out to my patrons for all support on Patreon. Y'all, like always, thank you a million times. I greatly appreciate it. It allows me to keep doing what I'm doing, making content for you guys and all that. And yeah, I really appreciate it. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, there should be a link up here as well as down below in the description. And like I said at the start of the video too, I am curious if we're getting actual raw builds anymore, or if we're just getting hotfixes. Because typically when a candidate's marked as released for beta or whatever, it usually just becomes, even PTR, random hotfixes like this pushed over the, a day or I guess, at any point, not every Tuesday or Wednesday. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But I do know one thing. If more hotfixes happen, guess what? I'll be talking about them. So if you want to see that, or in general, hit the like and sub button below. Helps out a ton. And I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.